Hey, 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 thanks for being in the REC experience. I'm your host, Takhar, with your girl, Laura Stewart. What's happening?
Hey, Jazz, I'm coming at you from 2 offices down. I can hear you.
we're still doing. Are you trying to say I talk loud?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
and now with no one in the office, the sound has been traveling a lot more than usual.
Between yourself and Cheyenne, you guys tell me you can hear me down the office. I'll try to bring it down the volume or not, because I am who I am, and I like to bring that.
This is coming from a person who gets told to be quiet all the time. So if I'm telling you to be quiet, then you're really, really loud.
You actually, I usually have to tell you, Laura, like you're walking around, people are bothered by you being on the phone. You're screaming.
My parents have tried their entire life, or my entire life, for me to find my inside voice. And I think we all just have to accept the fact that my outside voice rings loud inside, outside, wherever we are. So it is what it is.
As a kid growing up, did your parents always tell you, like, use your inside voice, Laura, use your inside voice?
Yeah, I mean, at the dinner table, I would be telling a story and I'd get so excited. And as I'm telling the story, I think I would get louder and louder and louder. And then eventually they'd interrupt me and they'd say, Laura, you're yelling. We're right here. You don't need to yell. But that, of course, would like send me off because now they've interrupted my amazing story. But I digress.
I want to make sure that we get to say Happy Canada Day at the time of this recording. It's the day before Canada Day, but as our episodes come out on Wednesday this month is July 1st, and it's Canada Day. What a beautiful, beautiful country to be living in. I know how patriotic you are, Laura, and what Canada means to all of us. And I think during this pandemic, once again, the rest of the world is looking at our country and saying, wow, did you guys ever take care of your people at a time where, in the rest of the world, there's so much happening, and not that, like, so much happening in terms of not only the pandemic, but with the civil unrest, and not that we don't have those situations here, specifically with racism in Canada. But overall, I have to say that the government has really took the hold of this, right? And made sure that people got money in their pockets. And some would say that the $2,000 was too much or it wasn't enough. But it's nice to see that people are not lining up for bread, and the rest of the world is again looking at us like they did back in 10 years ago when we had the massive financial crisis across the world. They're looking at Canada and saying, "Wow, like you guys figured it out." And I know you were watching kind of the confirmed cases numbers and the deaths. And
oh yeah, I got into it like every single day. I check the numbers. And look, obviously Canada Day, I'm very patriotic, not because I think we do things perfectly here. We are far from perfect, and we have many, many opportunities and situations where we need to improve. But I think on the whole, I got to say I'm very, very grateful to live in this country. And I know for our First Nations people, Canada Day is not necessarily something that they're celebrating. And I think we all just need to take these opportunities as moments to listen, to just try to understand. It doesn't even mean you have to agree, but just listen instead of talking or having your preconceived notions and assumptions ahead of time. So this day it's fun for me, but like I said, not for everybody. And in terms of how we dealt with the COVID situation, I mean, I still think that there's a lot of time to sort of let it unfold. Who really knows? But certainly when I look to our friends south of the border, sometimes I can hold my head up a little higher because, at the very least, I feel like we treat each other with at least a bit more kindness. I like to think, I like to hope, but, as we've heard, there's lots of stories where that's not the case. So happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day and happy birthday to Canada. Happy birthday to Canada. I hope you guys are having a lot of cake. I think I will as well, because why not? Cake is always good. And I hope you're celebrating this with your family and friends. Obviously practicing physical and social distancing while you do it. But here in Ontario, the number is up to, I think you're allowed to have 10 people in your COVID bubbles, so to
So
speak.
make sure they're 9 of your favorite people, because you're only going to get 9.
Exactly.
So we're starting to learn who our real friends are and family are during this.
So true. Good point. And as always, if there's anything that we could help with here at REC, please just reach out, whatever platform you're listening on or watching, just shoot us a message, or at any time you can email us at info@reccanada.com. This week, this episode, have an amazing entrepreneur, a man that came from a war-torn country. He now lives in the States, and just built a massive business that's grossing a little over $700 million a year. But his story about how he came to the country, all the failures, all the obstacles. I say it a lot, right? I'll tell, like, look, we can learn from people's successes, but me personally, I like to learn from people's mistakes, because they hit their head against the wall. So myself and yourself and everyone who's watching and listening right now, you don't have to. And Sam Baktiar is so proud to call this guy a friend. Him and I are becoming some, really close friends as we talk on Instagram on a regular basis. And after all this is over, I'm hoping to make a trip out to the States to go see him, and we'll do another live podcast. But he's just an amazing soul. So he's willing to share.
I overheard part of your recording when it was happening. I was in the other room, in the other office, and I mean, my jaw almost hit the floor. Like, some people just have to overcome so much, and you can tell it just gives them this certain strength, right? Sometimes, we always think, oh, woe is me and poor me. And then you think, oh my God, A, it could be way worse. And B, a lot of those struggles and those moments of difficulty are actually the things that you're going to reflect back on and say, wow, look at what I overcame and look at what I accomplished given the situation. And so it's what makes a wonderful story for people. That's what gives you like the uniqueness. That's what gives you that fight. And he's an incredible guy. What a journey he's been on, for sure.
Amazing energy, really brought a lot of fire. It was done on Instagram Live. That was the recording. So I had a lot of his community piping in with a lot of questions. It was almost like a live Q&A, not only with myself, but his community, our community. And so, as always, leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought about the episode in itself, but also the platform that we did it on. As most of you know, but I know a lot of you are still not supporting my Nightcap with Jazz, and so shame on you. It's my shameless plug, guys.
Yeah. I know when that's coming.
Nightcap with Jazz every weeknight, Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. live on Instagram. So if we're not connected, I would love for you to come on. And if you're a small business owner, or if you know of a small business owner that is in the process of reopening right across the country, please shoot me a message, DM me, email me, whatever, bat signals, whatever you got to do, because I want to make sure I bring on as many small business owners on my Nightcap. And this way we can support, my Nightcappers can support entrepreneurs, helping entrepreneurs. I think it truly is the Canadian way. And what better way and what better time to speak about that than Canada Day? And so I truly hope that you guys take a second right now and just think of a small business owner, a bakery, a nail salon, a dog, a pet groomer, whatever it is. If you know somebody that's reopening, I want to get them on Nightcap and share my share them reopening on my platform.
Yeah, I think it's definitely time for us to reach out our hands and help each other, our fellow Canadians. Let's get this economy back up and running, and for brighter times ahead, really.
Also, you've been busy with writing up your blog, doing your appraise weekly as well, live on Instagram. What was your most recent blog that you wrote, the topic? And then I want to make sure you let everybody know where to find it. And I know Clem puts all the puts all the Instagram tags and where you can find the blogs in the description, but I want you to make mention of it in case somebody's driving as well.
Yeah. So my blog is hosted on medium.com/@ Laura's Playlist. There's an S in there, Laura's Playlist. I talk about all sorts of things that are happening in my life, my work, what I'm doing at home in terms of exercise, my daily routines. I'm currently writing one on meditation, actually, and I've spoken a lot about that on my Laura's après sessions that I do on Instagram Live. I'm probably 10 to 12 weeks into my new meditation practice, and it was very difficult, certainly at the beginning. And I'm not to say I'm like a completely changed person, but definitely I've learned a lot in that time. And so that's going to be my next topic of conversation, which will be out in 2 weeks.
Awesome. Thank you for that. As always, guys, leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing, what topics you want us to cover coming up. We have obviously changed somewhat of the of how we describe our podcast in terms of, like, we don't have seasons. We're going right through and just continuing. This, I believe, is episode 111, 111.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. Big shout out to Saman Baktiar, to his team. Thank you for putting everything together. Give us the comment. Let us know. And if you haven't subscribed on the platform that you're watching or listening, i.e. if you're watching on YouTube, I need you to subscribe on a podcast platform. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, you should really see us. We're good looking people. Go to YouTube and press that subscribe. Even on Canada Day, girl, you couldn't just let it slide. You couldn't let it slide.
Never.
Like, you had to dig. You had to.
Always. I got to keep you grounded. So you pay me the big bucks for.
Elto, as always, love what you do. Love who you are. Thank you so much for all the work and everything that you make happen here. Shout out to the rest of the team, Cheyenne, Simos, Tyler, everyone, Luke, and obviously the media squad and all of our 33 realtors. I hope each and every one of you are taking the time on Canada Day to have some cake, have a drink, maybe a beer, maybe a Molson Canadian.
Maybe Canadian.
Whatever it is. And to you, the viewers and listeners, thank you so much for the support.
Enjoy the show, guys.
REC Experience presents Real Estate, Entrepreneurship, Leadership with your host, Jazz Takhar. The REC Experience podcast is now on air.
Mr. Saman Baktiar, how are you doing today? I'm amazing. How are you doing? I'm good. I appreciate you coming on live and doing an Instagram live with me. For everybody who's signing on, they're gonna be treated to a live podcast. On REC Experience Podcast. I'm the host, Jazz Takhar. Sam, I've been following you for a very long time. I've been reading up on the articles. I love your story. There's a lot of people here right now that are going to be coming on live. B, thousands and thousands who are going to be listening to the recording of this podcast. They don't know your story, and so I want to make sure that they hear it from you directly, because it's inspired not only me, my man. And guys, please give us your hearts and let us know. Ask some questions. My guys know I do my best that I possibly can to get to all the questions. We have a legend, a true legend. Don't leave this conversation yet. But if you're not following Sam, you're lost. Like, you need to follow Sam on a daily. He brings so much energy. Love what you're doing. You own, you have a little over, and I might get this wrong, a little over 110 gyms. Are we closer to, is it?
We're close. Exactly right.
Okay, Sam, so we're going to talk about the story about how you scaled it, because I want to scale my business and I want to get some advice from you as well. Tell us a little bit about yourself and let's inspire some people today, my man.
Well, brother, man, thank you very much for that awesome introduction. I'm humbled. I'm honored to be on the live with you. I appreciate you. And thank you for, like I said, a great announcement. Wow, my story, man. I'm kind of tired of hearing my own story, but I'm going to tell you. I'm an Iran. I was born in Tehran, Iran. Which is a third world country. And if you guys know Iran, Iran, Iraq, and that whole region, the Middle East, always had issues. There's always fighting. There's always a war. And when I was born, when I was 3 years old, two things happened that forever. At the moment you say it was devastating, right? Again, let me tell you guys one thing. Devastation at the time, that doesn't mean it's devastation forever. See, a lot of times, like right now we're going through COVID-19, and I know a lot of us are devastated. Our businesses are down, we're not working, and all that kind of stuff. But I guarantee you, 5 years from now, you're going to say that's the best thing that ever happened. You know, every single devastation that I've gone through, as long as I persevered, as long as I just kept going, at the end of that devastation, it was a wonderful paradise. And at 3 years old, you know, my mom and my dad got divorced. My dad left, and I never ever saw him again after that. So after 3 years old, I didn't have a dad. I grew up without a dad. And then also our country went to war with Saddam Hussein, and Saddam Hussein started attacking us for 8 years, bombing every night. And the crazy thing is, when the U.S. goes, when we go to war, we don't even know it unless you watch the news. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Because it's happening with the country that it's not happening with, like Canada. I'm from Canada. Even when the U.S. goes to war in the Middle East or wherever they're going for war, you're right, man. We don't see it unless we're watching it on TV. Like, you were part of this. You were in it.
I was in it, man. When we go to war, you heard sirens, you heard machine guns, you heard planes dropping bombs, you heard all that kind of crap, right? So, so with that, man, I grew up, getting bombed on every night without a dad. Now listen, my mom at 11 years old said, you know what? I don't want to die in this country. I don't want my son to go to the war. I'm going to get out of it. So we came to the United States as refugees of war when I was 11. Again, listen.
Shit.
If it because of the war and getting bombed on for 8 years, we would have probably never left. I would have never came to America. I would have never experienced this. I would have never had what I have and done what I've done. God, I can't do this back in Iran, right? And have I not had a dad, I probably wouldn't overcompensate and be as good of a dad as I am right now. Because now I told myself that, once I have children, it's going to be different for me. Once I have children, I'm going to be the super dad. I'm going to be able to be the best dad possible. And now, like, I literally spent, my top priority is spend time with my kids, then work, then help. Just always be, but that. So right now, like, right before I came up there, I was just calling my little boy. He just woke up. I love seeing him. So I came to this country when I was 11 years old. I thought I was coming to Beverly Hills. I thought I was coming to Beverly Hills because that's what I saw on TV when I lived in America. I saw American shows and stuff like that. And I thought everybody had, mansions and Cadillacs and pools and, everybody lived in homes like these, and I'm like, but I went to a little town in the middle of nowhere called Sharon in the state of Pennsylvania, which is, and my uncle, my only relative that we had here, my mom's brother, had a convenience store in the hood. That's what Middle Easterners do when they come to this country, I guess. You know what I mean?
Get a convenience store? Right.
Bro, his convenience store was, to this day, I have not seen a worse neighborhood than that. To this day. I've been all over. I've been to Compton. I've been to Watts. I've been to Queens. To this day, I haven't seen a worse neighborhood than Sharon, Farrell, Pennsylvania. And it was in the Idaho street where outside there was pimps, prostitutes, and drug dealers. I didn't speak English. I went to school as a 7th grader. I said, I want to learn English. I want to, continue my education, and I want to play football.
Okay.
And they said, yeah, football. And I'm like, damn, this country is weird. Football is, my English is not that good.
Yeah, no.
My English is not good, but I
and
know
then
what football is.
And Sam, and then we screw it up by calling it soccer, which really, I love the game of soccer, and so I say it all the time. They screwed up the names. Football should be soccer. American football should be called soccer. I totally agree.
100%. You know what I mean? And so I was confused. And so they didn't have a soccer team. They had American football. They had baseball and basketball. Well, American football, I didn't know nothing about. I love American football now. Baseball, I've never even heard of. And I was like, to this day, I don't know the object of the game. I don't know why. I still have to hit the ball and run the 4 bases. But I don't know all the different details. I really don't.
Yeah, there is some intricacies in the game, obviously, but if you don't follow it, it's like, what the heck is going on? It's slow. Yeah. It's 9 innings, man. It takes 4 hours to finish sometimes. Yeah.
And then there's basketball, and so I was like, what? Basketball, I never played before, but I know I have to put the ball in the hoop. How hard can that be? So we tried out for the basketball team, for the 8th grade basketball team, and 23 people tried out. Out of 23 people, 22 made it. 1 didn't make it, and that was me, yours truly. I was the only one that didn't make the team. Now, at that point, I was like, am I really that bad? I mean, bro, there was a guy, you might be even listening to this, Dan Candiotti, who was my boy. Dan Candiotti, he had triple bifocals on. He had like frog eyes, right? He couldn't even see the ball. He made the team. I didn't make the team, and I walked.
How did that make you feel at that time? I'm curious. How did that make Sam feel at that time? A little beat up or what?
Go beat it in your country, being bullied, being called names because I was the only minority in school. You say, I've gone through it. So I walked home. I mean, I went. Here's how I felt. I went home, cried all the way home, told my mom I'm going to go back to Iran. I don't like America. I'm going to go back to Iran. This is bullshit. This is not what they sold me. I thought America was Beverly Hills. People are, rude, nasty, And my mom said, we escaped the country as refugees. We can't come, right? We can't just leave and go back.
Right.
So she gave me a game plan. One thing that my mom always installed in me was that my mom always said, Sam, you can be whatever you want as long as you're willing to put in the work. My mom always told me that. My mom said, you can do whatever you want. You just got to put in the work. You got to be able to sacrifice. My mom was very big on that. So my mom can give me a game plan. My mom gave me a blueprint. She goes, here's what we're going to do. So you get off of school at 2:15, walk over to the boys club, which is a mile away, get there about 2:30 to 2:45, practice basketball from 2:45 to 5. I get out of work. I come pick you up. We'll go home. We have dinner, and you take a shower, go back to bed, and you do this 5, 6, 7 days a week and get better at basketball. So my mom gave me a blueprint at the time. So when I started that, I started going to this club, and one day when I was going to go play basketball, I saw these guys coming out from this room upstairs, and these guys were all buff. And at that time, the Terminator movies were out, the Commando movies were out, the Rocky movies were hot, and so Arnold and Sylvester Stallone were my heroes. I would have looked like that. I would have got guns like that. And these guys looked like Arnold. I'm like, what are they doing up there? So I went up there, man. These guys were just like pumping, like big rip. I mean, they were just big old guys, And I was a little like 12.
Hey, have you seen your profile pic recently?
Bro, you should see what I gotta post. What I look like.
Okay.
It took me 30 years though. You know what I mean? So I was a guy with the worst genetics. I'm thinking about. I naturally have skinny chest, skinny arms. The only thing I do have, I do have some legs, from playing soccer, and all that. But I always had skinny chest, skinny arms, and a big fat belly.
Okay.
And so when I walked in that room, I'm like, oh my God, these guys are crazy, lifting these weights and they're slapping each other, cussing, listening to loud music. So I started working out. First, I couldn't barely do the bar. I literally couldn't barely do the bar. I went home the next day. I couldn't get out of bed because I was so sore. I thought I'd die. I'm like, what did I do to myself? But next thing you know, I started going a little more. And now I'm adding 5 pounds on each side. Now I'm adding 10 pounds on each side. Next thing you know, I look in the mirror and I see some baby muscle. And you know what baby muscles are?
No.
Baby muscles are muscles that you can only tell on yourself. Nobody else can tell on you.
Got it. Okay.
I was one of those guys who's flexing in the mirror and started looking at my muscles. And my mom was like, well, what are you doing? I said, my mom, look at my muscles. Mom was like, you don't have any muscles.
Sorry, honey. You got nothing there.
But what it did, what I loved about that is that it made me not only better physically, but mentally, emotionally, and increased my self-esteem and the way I carried myself. It made me believe. Just think about it. I think life is like weightlifting. And here's what I mean by that. No matter what obstacle you overcome in life, there's always a bigger obstacle to come. People say, more money, more problems. It's not more money, more problems. It's more money, different type of problems.
Love that.
Love that. No problem. It's like different. We have a bigger problem to solve now, right?
Yeah.
So, and no matter how strong you get in the weight room, there's a bigger weight that you can do. There's a bigger weight that you can do. Nobody can lift all the weights in the world. At my strongest, I was benching like 400 pounds.
Shit.
But you know what? I couldn't do 450.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Look, Sammy, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I hope some of the viewers got this. And for all the viewers that are coming in, shout out to everyone that's coming in. I got the legend himself here, Sam Baktiar. Thank you so much for joining me live. I know how early it is where you are, but you stuck to your time and you're a man of your word. You are who you say you are. I love it. Thank you so much. You're listening to a live REC Experience podcast with the man himself. You said something about the bar at first felt overwhelming. Then it was the 5 pounds that you added, and then 5 pounds more. I also, I'm in the sales and service business. I run a company of real estate agents here in Toronto, Canada, with 33 realtors, 10 support staff. And what I talk to them about all the time is, look, just move the needle slightly every single day. Don't worry about the 52 pounds or the 450 pounds. Just get the bar. Just pick up the bar right now, and put those reps in. And you use the term 1% movement. Can you talk a little bit more about the 1% movement? Because I want all my viewers and all my listeners right now to get part of this movement. So talk about how the 1% movement started and what it is.
Well, I always thought that a 1%er, is someone who is willing to do whatever it takes. It's exactly what my mom told me. Remember what I talked about? We know 1%er is somebody who doesn't care about the past. They know where they are and they know where they want to go, and are willing to do whatever it takes and willing to pay the price and go against all odds and go against what everybody says or what everybody thinks. They're willing to not be the popular person. They're willing to give up TV. They're willing to give up parties because they'll have something to achieve. 1%er is the person who's willing and able to delay gratification. And delay gratification is the single most important factor that predicts future success. Delay gratification means that you are somebody who's willing to give up something now for something much greater later, which in the society, which we live in a microwave society right now, that a lot of people are just want instant gratification. They want the 6-minute abs. They want to, be rich overnight.
Give me the blue pill. Give me the blue pill, Sam. I want the blue pill. Put it in my brain.
Exactly.
And I love what you called it. Did you call it the microwave? You called it the microwave society. You want to get in there, get it zapped, and get it heated. Continue.
And so for me, 1%er has never been about somebody better than somebody else. Because sometimes people are like, well, you're a 1%er because you're rich or because you're ripped. You think you're better than everybody? It has nothing to do with that. 1%er, you can be 400 pounds and broke as fuck and be a 1%er. Or you can be a billionaire and ripped and not be a 1%er. So the 1%er is all about the mindset, is all about somebody who is willing to do whatever it takes and willing to do and go against all odds. To me, that's a 1%er.
Now, Sam, so somebody's watching here, somebody's listening here and to the recording, and they're thinking, okay, I want that. So I'm looking at Sam. I checked out his profile. I went on the website. I'm ready. I'm pumped. We know that generally doesn't last long for most people, right? Somebody mentioned here about motivation. I mean, I like to say that you need to get motivated daily, just like you brush your teeth daily. It's
just
not
like
one
take a shower. Yeah.
Well, I hope people take a shower, right? And brush their teeth daily. But how does somebody find what they're passionate about? I personally, this is what I love to do. I like to learn from leaders. I don't have a formal education. I squeaked by high school, got everything from personal development, listening to people like yourself, executing, more importantly, in my opinion, executing on teachings that someone like yourself has already gone through. You hit your head against the wall 100 times. I don't need to hit my head against the wall now. I can learn from you, even as a mentor from afar, but I feel like I found my passion. You found your passion. How does somebody go about finding their passion?
Well, let me tell you, the answer might surprise you. For me, I don't have a conventional answer to that. My answer to that is if you're a grown-ass man or a grown-ass woman living and you don't have a passion, then you don't have a pulse. I mean, I don't understand how you can be living and not have something that you're passionate about. My son is 10 months old, and I can see what he's passionate about. So you can't go, I got to find my passion. You don't have a pulse if you haven't found your passion. Ever since I was a little boy. I love sports. I love sports. I love cars. And I like women. I remember, I didn't even know what women were about. I remember I was like 3 years old. I was looking at women. I'm like, oh wow, she's pretty. You know, like you know what I mean? Like so you have a passion. Somehow in life you lost your mojo. Sometimes in life people told you can't do that. Sometimes in your life you got beat down and naysayers get the best of you. You have the passion in you. There's no way that you're alive right now and you can tell me that you don't have a fucking passion. You have the passion.
I feel like Sam, that people just haven't asked themselves the question a lot. You know what I mean? Like they spend so much time, like if you're in a group of friends, hey, what do you want to eat? Everyone discusses what to eat for 67 minutes, but they've never really took the time to ask, hey, what am I good at? And what can I be passionate? Like, what am I passionate about? And possibly what can I monetize? Like, you ask yourself those questions, right? Like just getting to that point. Now I like to jump back and forth. I know you're okay with it. You don't mind me going on tangents and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. I like to try to bring a lot of energy and passion to the podcast. When did you start thinking about opening the gym now? Is that when you started seeing everyone kind of pumping those weights and you're like, there's something here?
Yeah. So remember, if I had made the basketball team,
right,
I would have probably never started lifting.
I love this.
How about I never started lifting? I would have never got into the gym business. I would have never had 110 locations, never helped hundreds of thousands of people through my programs. Again, let me reiterate, life happens for you, not against you.
Say that again, please, Sam. Sam, say that again, please.
Life happens for you, not against you. Listen, obstacles are God's test for you to overcome, to see if you are worthy of his blessing. Because if you quit when the obstacle presents itself, you're just showing God that you're not worthy of his blessing. You're a quitter. You don't believe in faith. You don't believe in him. Now, I'm not going to sit down here and be all religious because I'm very novice at God. I'm very novice at Jesus, and we're novice at religion. I'm not one of those guys who's going to start, thumping, God or Bible to you, But I will tell you this, that I know from firsthand experience. In life, you really have two choices. When something happens, really have two choices. Think about it. Sit down, not do anything, and become a victim, or get up and do something. And I guarantee you, if you get up and do something, you're gonna get somewhere.
There's momentum, right? Momentum happens even when you're just lifting weights. Like you get stronger every single time you lift. Go.
Okay. So I told you I don't know nothing about baseball.
Yeah,
but I do know a couple of things. I know in baseball you get 3 strikes and you're out. In life, you get unlimited swings. So I don't know nothing. I never played baseball in my life, but I guarantee you, if I can swing unlimited, and I don't know who's the best pitcher. I don't know whoever that person is. He can throw the ball as fast as he can. But if I get unlimited swings, it might take me 50,000 swings, but I'm gonna hit one of that fucking balls out of the park. I guarantee you that.
Just keep swinging, right?
Okay? So as long as I'm swinging, I'm gonna have a chance.
Look, man, I love that you're talking. Go ahead. Sorry.
So going forward, I fell in love with bodybuilding and how I wanted to know how proper nutrition, proper exercise is going to increase, human performance, make me stronger, make me leaner. I literally get obsessed with it. I went and I bought every magazine. I bought every nutrition book. This is me at 15, 16 years old. I get a little allowance. I would go to GNC every Tuesday because every first Tuesday of every month they have a sale. I would get the latest like potion and pill or whatever. Like I would literally be lifting in the basement, and I would pop a pill, like a protein pill. I would just flex in the mirror, like I'm like, what happened? Oh, maybe I'm gonna notice that. And I would pop another pill, give another shake, and that was my life, right? That was my life.
You obsessed. I love that.
And so when I went to college, my mom said, Sam, I want you to become a doctor. So I'm like, well, I don't want to do surgery. I don't want to do, I don't want to drill in somebody's teeth. I'm like, what doctor has to do with muscles, bones, nutrition, and body? So I found Doctor of Chiropractic. I went to Penn State, got my degree in pre-medicine and nutrition. Came to Los Angeles College of Chiropractic, got my degree in chiropractic, and then from then on, I started my first gym in the year 2000 called Fitness Concept. Now a lot of people are like, Sam, he was an overnight success. My God, he came up. My overnight success has been 20 years.
It took 20 years for this man to be an overnight success. Just please, everybody who's watching, I know we're watching on Instagram where the places, if you're watching live, where there's the instant gratification, the microwave philosophy that Sam was talking about, but there's no such thing as an overnight success, guys and girls. It took 20 years. Okay, so 20 years, open the first gym, go.
Open up the first gym, man. I didn't know nothing about marketing, business. I didn't even set up a corporation or LLC. It was all under my name, and I started my first business. All I knew is how to help people.
Sorry, Sam, did you take over a gym from somebody? Was this a new location or what was what?
Yeah, so I took over a gym that was going under.
Okay.
That was going under. And I went in there and I literally just went to straight hustle mode. Now, I've never done sales. I've never done marketing. And from somebody who was like so shy of making a sale, but now my back was against the wall because I either make this work or I have to move back to my mama in Pennsylvania. So I just all of a sudden became the greatest salesman because if I didn't sell, I wouldn't eat. I would have to move out. And I didn't want to go back to cold, rainy Pennsylvania. I wanted to stay in sunny California. I wanted to stay here. This is where I wanted to stay. Right?
Love it. Yeah.
See, I didn't want to go to rainy, cold, snowy Pennsylvania. Yeah. So I started hustling. I started doing really good. And not until like 2005, when I retired from my bodybuilding career, after becoming the first bodybuilder in history to get a first place title in every weight class, after winning Mr. LA, runner-up in Mr. USA, I said, okay, I got to take this business seriously because eventually I want to get married and have kids. Now I got to take the business seriously. So I started getting mentors. I started learning more about marketing, sales, systems, automation, and I started scaling my business. To at one point in 2007, we were doing $2.4 million in gross revenue out of a 3,500 square foot gym.
Still the one gym. Just want to make sure we have. Okay, continue.
Still the one gym.
Okay.
Still the one gym. But then in 2008, what happened? The recession. And nobody in my family, I didn't have a dad. Nobody in my family knew about ups and downs in the economy. I've never had they didn't teach that in school. So when I was making money, I thought I was always going to be making money. So I was making some dumb decisions like, I bought a Ferrari in 2007 and the Ferrari payment was $5,000 and I was making about $20,000. So 25% of my income was going to a car payment. I think it was the dumbest decision I ever made. The most ghetto, let me tell you, the most was bigger than my house payment.
Yeah. Look, for anybody who's listening who wants the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis, you heard it from the man himself. It was one of the dumbest decisions he ever made because I know, and once he started putting the money back and investing into himself and investing into his business, that's when real growth happened.
So when 2008 hit, man, all of a sudden, I'm not making 20 grand a month, 20 grand a month or more. Now I'm making like, 10, 5, 10, 6, 7. And now I got a $5,000 Ferrari payment and a $4,000 house payment and other expenses. You're
losing money.
So yeah, man. That was and that's the biggest devastation. Something. There's a couple of things that can really devastate you. One is getting in really good shape and then getting out of shape again. Because what you could be at your best. And people know, all bodybuilders and people who compete that they know. Because they're always comparing themselves to when they were on stage. You know what I mean? And, they're like, oh, man, they can look really good. They're like, oh, no, I don't look good, man. And that's not my best. And nothing is worse than making money and losing it. And when I talk to some of my really wealthy friends, they say they know more people that used to be rich than they are rich today because they make dumb moves, right? And so in 2008, in 2009, I remember, I was expecting my first child. My wife then was pregnant, and I met with her in a restaurant. I started crying, and I said, you know what, we're minus $314 in the bank account. And she was 6 months pregnant. And now I'm going to be this that loser dad that I never had, that not going to be able to provide for the kids. My kids are not going to be able to live the kind of life that I wanted. Now I'm living all these regrets of, I should have bought the Ferrari. I shouldn't be dumb. I should have saved my money. I should know that kind of stuff. And for about a week, I went through like a little depression. And here's what I do when I'm depressed. I order a large pizza every night. Eat the pizza, go back to bed, have a little pity party. I don't go out there and drink or go do dumb shit. I'm gonna eat a large pizza and just knock myself to go to sleep. Yeah, I did that for about a week. I did that for about a week, and I got tired of pizza, and I got tired of a pity party. All right, you know what? I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna do something. I don't know what. I'm gonna get up and do something again. I'm gonna get up and do something. So I got up, and I literally started working, 18, 20-hour days. I'm talking about 2-3 years. And not everything. I had a little bit of success, but not a lot of success until we started a camp, a group training class, because nobody could afford personal training anymore.
Right.
In the recession.
Yeah.
Because personal training is one-on-one training, is $500 to $800 a month. Nobody could afford it at that time. So I'm like, how can I decrease the cost and still be profitable? So that's when we began with a group training concept, boot camp concept, where we can have one trainer with a lot of people, and now instead of people paying, $500-$800 a month, they pay $150 a month, and we can have one trainer. I thought at first that being a bodybuilder, I'm like, you need one-on-one training, you need heavy weight to be able to do that. You're not going to get results like that. This is some Jane Fonda aerobic shit that nobody's going to be able to, But you know what? Thank God I was open-minded to give it a try, and I had no other option. But let's give it a try. And to my surprise, people get in better shape. People stayed longer, and people loved it a lot more. And also, one-on-one training was not even a training session. After a while, it becomes a therapy session, because I don't care how good the trainer is. You become friends. Next thing you know, it's more of this and less of this, and it becomes both taxing on the trainer and the client.
And I feel and Sam, sorry, I feel from the client's perspective, when they're in a group setting, it's like, oh, the person next to me is doing it, to my right, to my left, in front of me, behind me. It starts to motivate you a little bit more, inspire you a little bit more. Okay, yeah.
Absolutely. And not only people got better results and stayed longer, it also was a better business model, because with personal training, for every client that I signed up, I have to assign one trainer. Right. Which means that no matter how far the revenue went, the payroll, the overhead changed it, right? With group training, it didn't. I can have one trainer, whereas many people are, if I really need to, I'll bring in two trainers.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was a game changer. And that's when the camp started. And that's when we started little by little opening up camps and be able to scale.
So you opened up the camp in one place, and was that the original gym? I just wanted to kind of get that. Okay, so that's
right next to the original gym.
Got it. And so then, like, what did it take for you to take that leap of faith to go from the 1 to the 2nd to the 62nd and to now to the 110th?
So we opened the first one. Then after about a year or so, we're like, okay, the next town over is a pretty good market. Let's open up the second one. And these ones are, man, when I look back at these pictures, they're bare bones, man. We had boom boxes, and I remember we didn't have money for flooring for the first gym. It was really, we're doing the boot camp on a concrete floor in a warehouse. And I remember people coming up to me and saying, Sam, my back hurts, my knee hurts, and this and that. I'm like, man, stop being a pussy. I'm like, don't complain, man. Get up and do something. And so one day I took the class. And next morning I got up, my back. So I was like, they weren't being. It's just bad on your knees. You all that pounding on the concrete. So finally, man, we finally saved up money. Like, you know, I remember we had one CD. We couldn't even afford an iPod, you know, the iPod or whatever this and that. You know, we had one CD, and that CD played for a year. I had that all song sequences memorized. And one day I just flipped because I told myself, if that Rihanna song ever come back again, we found love in an empty place or whatever.
Yeah, I know that song. Yeah.
I was like, if that song comes up one more time, I'm gonna flip. And I did. The song came up one time, and I went and started a whole boot camp. I said, stop in front of everybody. I can't listen to this anymore. We gotta get an iPad. We gotta get this thing. So we didn't have $200-300 to be able to get that. So we opened up the second one, and then after a year, opened up a third one. And then one of our trainers said, "Can I open up a fourth one?" And another, you know, and we did that. And next thing you know, one day I was in my office, and one of the clients who got great results from our program came up to me and said, "Sam, I want to open up, you know, one of our, you know, accounts, and I want to open one up. What does it take?" You know, I'm like, I didn't give her any attention. I'm like, I get all these business proposals all the time. So I kind of ignored it, start working. Another week she comes back and, you know, talks to me again. Another week comes out. So she finally comes over with a check. Like, "Sam, I just got some inheritance. I want to open up a camp in High Desert. What do I need to do?" I'm like, "Oh shoot, she got a check."
She's for real.
So I called, yeah, exactly. I called an attorney and started, I'm like, "What do we need to do?" They go like, "Okay, we're going to license the program." So we started licensing the program. And then next thing you know, the word got out that the camp is a business opportunity. And so many of our clients got such a great results, and they want to be a part of it. So all of our clients coming in and really are getting flooded with people who want to open up camps. And we started opening up camps, and then I started doing more research. I'm like, okay, wait a second. We're actually are not a licensing program. We're a franchising program. You know, if we're going to do it right, we got to do it right. So I called the attorney again. He goes, "Yeah, you're right. You better, you know, change your business model now." So, you know, at the time, the franchising cost like $40,000. It was like everything I had in the bank. You know what I mean? And literally every penny I had in the bank, you know. So we put it up. You know, we made it a franchise, and the rest is history.
I love the fact that you just went all in. I talk about it all the time, that once you find what makes you happy, what you're passionate about, know that the money will follow. But you have to have the you-know-what to go all in, right? Like a poker player, once they have that pocket aces, ace, king, that's when they go all in. I want to make sure that the viewers and the listeners caught on to a couple of things, because it was music to my ears, these two major topics you spoke about. And I write on my table here while I hear some of these things you speak about. Number one, before I actually go into that, is everybody who's just watching, guys, you're going to be able to get this recording. Just search, just go to my profile. There'll be a link. This will live in my IGTV, but then you can go on REC Experience on any podcast platform. I got the man, I got the legend. If you don't know him yet, you're lost. But at the end of the day, go make sure to check out his profile. You use the word obsession. I speak about that a lot. And for some people, it's tough because they feel like they're letting maybe their friends and family down because they're so obsessed about what they're doing. But I like to talk about the fact that, hey, like, it's okay to be obsessed about something as long as you're not doing something illegal or you're not hurting someone. To be obsessed about your passion, you need that. Like, we're starting to see it. More people are seeing it, like with The Last Dance and Michael Jordan's documentary right now, how obsessed he was. But you heard it from Sam. He said it himself. He said, "I was obsessed to make sure that I was learning that everything that I possibly could at the time when I was down." Can you just go back and, like, I want people to realize, like, it's okay to be obsessed.
I told you this before. I told you this earlier, man. If you're alive and you're not obsessed, then you're really not alive. I mean, that's the best way that I can describe it, man. I mean, you got to get up. There's got to be something that wants you to wake up in the morning early, and something that keeps you up late at night. What is that? I'm obsessed about my kids. I'm obsessed about my family. I'm obsessed in making myself better. I'm obsessed in making more money. I'm obsessed in becoming a better person. I'm obsessed in becoming healthier. Right now, if you go to my kitchen, I have a supplement pantry. I'm literally, like, experimenting with, 6-7 different health supplements right now. My goal now is not like to try to have 21-inch biceps no more. My goal is to be as mobile as possible, as healthy as possible. I have a 10-month-old. I'm 47 years old. So I'm a 10-month-old. I want to make sure by the time this guy is 12 years old, I can still whoop his ass.
I love that.
So I'm obsessed. I get up. I figure something to be obsessed about. And I'll tell you this right now. One of the best ways for you to combat aging is by learning new things. See, your brain ages when you stop learning. And as we grow, as we get older, we just want to do a few things that we know. We just want to live in our comfort zone. We don't want to learn anything new. We don't want to experiment anything new. And by when you're not doing that, you're not creating neuropathic pathways, synapses in your brain. That's when Alzheimer's starts setting in. That's why depression comes in. Show me somebody who's obsessed and depressed at the same time.
Oh, that's a new one for me. I like that.
Show
never
me
met
somebody. Him. I never met him. Show me somebody who's obsessed and depressed at the same time. It does not exist. The reason you're obsessed because you got. I can cuss, right? The reason.
Yeah.
The reason you're obsessed because you got too much fucking time on your hands. You're thinking about shit. And you're sitting there, too much white spaces on your calendar. You're sitting down there, oh man, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? You're not, you have too much fucking idle time on your hands. That's why you're depressed. Show me somebody who's busy who's depressed. I don't know one.
Look, that's why they say you want to get something done, give it to a busy person, right? When you say, show me somebody who's obsessed and depressed, I also say, look, show me somebody who's grateful. In fact, the brain can't handle it. Being grateful and fearful at the same time. Can't happen. They're total oxymorons. You can't be grateful and fearful at the same time. And there's always something to be grateful for. Always. Like even in today's day and age, what we're going through. The other thing that you spoke about, and it's starting to become the buzzword in 2020, 2019, pivot. You were able to pivot when shit was down. You had you had the cards stacked against you, and you were able to pivot. What and you went into 18-hour work days. What kind of went through your mind at that time? Was it just like, fuck, I have no choice. I have to do this now. And is that what made you pivot?
Well, okay. So just a full transparency. I hate the word pivot.
Okay. I love it.
Full transparency because it's now people fucking overuse it.
Okay. That's why I said it's becoming like the buzzword, right? Yeah.
I'm fucking tired of that fucking shit. Pivot this, pivot. Man, come on, bro. Pivot was like moving a basketball drills back in the day.
Yeah, true.
Pivot means just change direction. But to me, the word that I always use, because I'm not into like the new words and the new trends. I make my own trends. The word that I always use is get the fuck back up and keep going. You'll figure it out. Look, what life is just like boxing. Life is just like fighting, right? When you get knocked down in boxing or MMA, you got two choices. Come back, adjust, and keep going, or just let that knockdown be the end of your career. You have a choice. You can be a champion. I remember watching Floyd Mayweather, watching Shane Mosley.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane was the first person who almost knocked him out. He hit Floyd a couple of good shots. Floyd's knees buckled, and people thought he was done. Everybody was cheering, this is Floyd's first loss. Floyd went back in the corner. Most people would be like, oh man, he got me. I don't know what I'm going to do. Calm as it could be. He came back, adjusted, and started killing Shane. Now, Mike Tyson, he was undefeated. And I love Mike. I just saw him the other day. He was undefeated until Buster Douglas knocked him down. And after that, he started getting more knocked out, and get more knocked out because he was like, oh man, now I'm not invincible anymore. He started doubting himself. Just because you have one loss, just because you got one knockdown, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world for you. It's not. You know what I mean? Nobody goes through life undefeated.
I love this, Sam. Like, for anybody who's watching and listening, if you're just coming on now, you missed a very important part, because what Sam's talking about when you said just get up and keep going, you said something earlier, which was like, you didn't know what the heck you were doing running a business. Like, this was all new to you. Forget like how you scaled it for a second. Just opening your first thing. You knew nothing about marketing. You knew nothing about how to like bring people in. But you figured it out. You got mentors. You learned just through even osmosis, watching other people, or just actually doing it. Like, I'm sure the first time you saw like a statement, a loan, if you have to get a loan or whatever it was, a bank statement, you're like, what the heck is this? But you figured it out. You asked questions and you figured it out. You don't need to see the whole staircase, right? You just need to take that first step.
Well, let me tell you a story. When I was in Penn State, I was working out with a friend of mine, his name is Chris. And Chris was 3 times as big as me. He was huge. We were getting ready for Mr. Pittsburgh Bodybuilding Championship. We're ready to go in there. He dropped out. Oh, I need to get bigger. I'm not ready. He was 260 pounds. I need to get bigger. I'm at 160 pounds. I went in there. Next show. Oh, I still need to get bigger. I still need to get bigger. I still need to get bigger. Chris never stepped on stage. He was up to 300 pounds. He was never big enough because he always self-doubted. He was never good enough. So an imperfect action is always better than no action.
That's it. Period. Take action. Take the leap of faith. To just take the leap of faith. Like, I deal with a lot of real estate investors here, Sam, in our country, in Canada, like really focus more on Toronto. And the reason my podcast is about real estate and entrepreneurship is because I started to see a lot of crossover between entrepreneurs and real estate investors. It all came down to taking a leap of faith. Like, I could give you the best investment on a silver platter. I can give you the best business that you can start, or you can think about a business that you want to start. But if you don't get started, nothing's going to happen. You don't invest, nothing is going to happen. There's going to be this, but in the long term, both will generally work out if you keep on going at it. I want to give, because I got the fitness guru here with me, and I would be silly and dumb if I didn't ask a question about fitness in itself. There's people who have they're looking for that quick fix, right? That blue pill that we spoke about. What's like the basic thing that people can do at home now? Because in Ontario and Toronto, gyms are not open yet. For example, it's coming in phase 2, phase 3. What's some things people can do at home just to stay healthy, man?
Well, honestly, man, just go for a walk. Just go for a walk, man. Like, after I get done today, I have a few podcasts to do. I've been going for a 4-mile walk. I take my dog, I take the baby. Sometimes if they're not available, I just go for myself. I listen to some audio books while I'm what I'm doing, clear my head. Well, it's so therapeutic, man. So therapeutic. You know what I mean? You can do your regular push-ups. You can do your little sit-ups. You can just go to YouTube, just Google body weight exercises if you want to just get crazy about it. But most important thing is this: is you carve out a time a day that you're going to give to your health. 1 hour a day that you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to not be on my phone. I'm not going to sit down, and I'm just going to do something. And that's what you want to do. 1 hour every day that's dedicated to you and your health. Because let me tell you something. Taking care of yourself, taking care of your health is the most unselfish thing that you can do for yourself, your family, and your loved ones. A lot of times when we get older and we're mom and dad, we think that taking one hour a day, out of ourselves is selfish. Okay, it's selfish because we don't want to take that time away from the family, or we got to work, or we got to do this. That's a bunch of excuse. Because if you're not at your best, then you're not at your best for your family, you're not at your best for your job, you're not be able to perform. And God forbid if something happens to you, you're sick and you're in a hospital, you definitely can't take care of your family. So, just like when you take off on the plane and they say, in case of oxygen drop, put a mask on yourself before you help anybody else. Just like I can't, help somebody from drowning in this swimming pool if I can't swim. You got to be able to help yourself before you help somebody else. And that starts with you. If you don't feel good, if you're not healthy, you can't do for others and other families. So carve out a time. Stop making excuses. So, it's not about the COVID-19. It's not about 2019. It's not 2020, 2021. It's not this year. It's not that year. It's today. Get up and make a time for yourself.
I love it. I want you. You dropped hundreds and hundreds of golden nuggets. Like I repurpose content a lot. And I take little micro clips out. My team's gonna have a hard time today, Sam, after we're done with this, because there's a lot to pull out. So I appreciate all that you gave today and that you continuously give. If you're not following Sam, we're almost done. Instagram Live kicks me off automatically. We've been going for an hour. It's felt like 10 minutes. Everybody wants to watch the recording. Figure it out. You'll get it. It's REC Experience Podcast. Sam, can you leave the viewers and listeners with one more tip? And I know I'm asking for a lot. Hopefully I'm not overstepping my boundaries with you, my man. But can you leave our viewers and listeners with one more tip? It could come from a fitness perspective, a business perspective, or just a mindset perspective, my man.
I have a tip for you, especially during this COVID-19. I know a lot of us, like I said, we're going through it. Okay. So I will tell you this, I've learned in my 47 years of being on this, having the privilege to live on this earth, and the experiences and wisdom that I've gathered, is that when things are good, they're not always going to remain good. And when things are bad, they're not always going to remain bad. So when things are good, you always want to prepare for when things are bad. And when things are bad, you have to have faith and keep going, and knowing that after bad, there's seasons. So life has seasons. It always has and always will be. It's not always going to be summer, and it's not always going to be winter. So keep going and have faith.
Sam, thank you so much. Is there a place that, is it just for people to go to your Instagram profile? Is there another, is there a website
Absolutely.
Where's the best place for people to go catch you right now, man?
They can go to my Instagram profile at Saman Baktiar, Bakhtiar, or they can text me. I have a community texting number, which is 909-200-4015. 909-200-4015.
Just a quick shout out to my team. Make sure we get that in the show descriptions. This was a Insta Live, but it really was a live listening to the podcast episode. Sam, I hope I can bring you value some way, somehow. I'll shoot your team a message, just whatever value I can give back, because you gave us so much today. I hope your family stays safe. You stay safe. And again, if there's anything that I can do to bring you value, please let us know. Thank you so much for your time today, my man.
Bro, it's an honor and privilege to be on your show, man. You are a great interviewer, such a great energy. Man, just love being around positive people like you, man. Keep it up. God bless you, brother.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you, my man. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
This has been the REC Experience Podcast with Jazz Takhar, an REC Canada production.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching and listening. Please take a second right now to subscribe and follow us on whatever podcast platform you're watching or listening. It means the world to me. Thank you.